For Epilepsy Action's 70th anniversary, we asked some of our supporters to give their honest reactions to a video about epilepsy from 1957, looking at what they think has changed between then and now, and where they want to see the future heading for people with epilepsy.
One person in every 200 has an epilepsy of some kind.
1 in 200. It's now 1 in 100, I think.
Shows that they knew it was pretty common back then.
Is to put the pieces together again, to make a go of living, needs understanding.
Yeah, people have no idea even now.
And I told them that I had fits.
Not keen on fits.
Fits, I think they call it seizures now.
They thought that I went round bashing up everyone.
Amazing.
You see, if you're big and they think you're strong enough to take more drugs, well, they just pump more drugs into you because they know that they'll cure you of the fits.
Cure? Oh my god.
I've been put on a load of drugs. Far too many at one point.
Yeah, I hate the idea of having to take more and more medication, but yeah, in some scenarios you have to.
But they're not worried so much about the physical disability.
In fact, I tried 20 hospitals before I got one to take me for my training.
Wow, 20.
Yeah, it can be difficult finding work. Still these days, a lot of people don't understand.
And I used to have to keep a file so I didn't apply to the same one twice.
Poor girl.
One does begin to find that one's social life diminishes.
Yeah,
because not so much that your friends are bothered about it.
Yeah, some of them are bothered, yeah. They won't tell you though.
You feel yourself that, well, you're going to embarrass somebody if you go around, and it might upset the party.
You can feel embarrassed sometimes when you met somebody for the first time on a social occasion, I guess.
No, I wouldn't like to get married and let my boy or girl be born with fits.
I couldn't think of not getting married. My wife's my pillar. She's my support.
It wasn't fair to get married. I didn't think it was fair to the woman or any girl to marry me under those circumstances.
So sad that he thinks
And
like
also
that.
the fact that there are so many people helping. Willing to
Yeah, I
help,
agree, helping.
but at the same time they
Helping's
they
okay, but help too much, yeah, that's
Well,
true.
that is the main trouble.
Yeah, my mum never
She
stops
stops worrying.
worrying.
Sounds like my mum.
I get where all of them are coming from, actually. I really do. I hope their lives are better today. I do think a lot has improved in 70 years. A lot has. And I feel really lucky that I wasn't born 70 years ago to have to experience things as they did.
I think between when that video was filmed and now, public attitudes have changed quite a bit. Hospitals are definitely more willing to accept you, and when that woman said she'd been to 20 different hospitals, that was like, that really shocked me.
Over the last 25 years since I was diagnosed now, I feel the public attitude has changed for the better towards epilepsy. I feel due to the awareness that has been raised by certain charities.
I think there's definitely a bit more understanding. I think people don't see it as a disease. I don't think they're as perhaps scared or surprised if you say you have epilepsy. But I still think things haven't changed in the fact that there's a lack of understanding about what epilepsy is.
Things have changed since 1957. We can get married, I'd like to think. We can have children. I'm living testament to that. The NHS has got better. You know, they still supply a lot of drugs, but it's got better with the care and support.
I think some of the concerns have stayed the same. Things like talking about social life and everyone worrying too much. It gets annoying. I definitely identify with that.
Public attitude hasn't changed too much. There's still, I mean, only about 2 or 3 years ago, when I'd have a seizure, someone prescribed putting a spoon in my mouth, which is very, very old-fashioned, and people do need to be educated.
In a positive manner, I think epilepsy has made me stronger and more determined to go about changing things that affect me and affect a lot of other people. I don't think I would have that kind of determination if I wasn't in the position that I am now.
Epilepsy does come with challenges, but on the positive side, it's made me feel I can overcome anything that's thrown my way since being diagnosed.
It's made me think more about other people. It's made me think more about disability in the world around me. Negative-wise, I think it's probably made me a bit more envious, just because seeing your friends go out and have this great social life, or at least that's what it seems like, you do tend to feel a bit jealous, and then you start feeling really guilty that you're feeling jealous about it, and then a bit angry because you know that you can't change anything about it.
Back to look on the bright side. It is what it is. I have it, so I just work around it.
It has held me back career-wise. I lost my job in the Royal Navy as a medical assistant, driving of course, since it's not been controlled seizures.
And I've never truly been able to hold down a job due to seizures coming and going. I get them under control and they come back.
What I wish more people knew about epilepsy is that it's just as much of a disability as ones that you can see, like somebody in a wheelchair or someone who has to use a walking stick or is blind, because while it may not have those same characteristics that you can see, and while it's not as easy to identify, it still really affects people's lives just as much. And invisible illnesses such as epilepsy, because you can't see them, often don't really get validated in the community, and that can be really tough for someone who has epilepsy. It can make them feel really invalid.
I hope for the future for people with epilepsy. I hope for people with epilepsy that there is a lot more education. I hope that people at school, I hope that there's more first aid, there's more, just as young as school age, know what epilepsy is, or any disorder or long-term condition. Children need to know this. And the DWP desperately need to work and coincide with the charities to understand that it's not a tick box exercise of epilepsy. Just because we might not have a seizure every minute of every day does not mean that we are not disabled, and we need the help from our country and the government. And I'd say that is my hope for the future of people with epilepsy, that there's more support.
What I hope is that the research continues and keeps moving forward to make life for people with epilepsy easier, less prominent in people's lives, I would say, and then more understanding. I don't know how you do that, but more understanding about what epilepsy actually is, and ensure that there's less stigma around it.
My wish and I hope for everyone with epilepsy gets the correct treatment and will go seizure free. I wish that for everybody with epilepsy, so they don't have to live with the uncertainty and the anxiety that can come along with epilepsy, as you never know what's going to happen day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, or even second to second.
What I hope for the future of people with epilepsy is that they have a chance to do everything that a neurotypical person would be able to do. Because right now, there are things that people aren't able to do because they have epilepsy. There are things that people are held back from. There is discrimination within the workplace, and I'd like for that to change, and if I could be a part of it, then that would be amazing.